this movie actually obviously deals with the grief of King T'Challa dying. How was it for you as a writer actually be able to explore grief through different characters' lenses, and they all had a different reaction to it, but actually as a dramatic story in a Marvel movie?
Well, that's a great question. We looked at all the stages of grief. Once Chad passed, and we had wrapped our head around how we were going to go forward, and how grief was going to be thematically what we were exploring, how to get over grief. We explored and researched what those stages were and how various people have dealt with it, and we really tried to look at our characters and say, okay, how would this particular character approach, how would their loss of Chadwick change them? How would it affect how they move forward? And we just tried to move in that way with each of them. Yeah.
I was really struck by the scene where Shuri finally gets to go to the ancestral plane, hoping to see King T'Challa, but you flipped it where she is more in line with Killmonger. So dramatically, how was it for you to be able to go that way, show her darker side, but also, of course, bring her back? But for you doing that setup dynamic, how was that for you?
It was great. We wanted Michael to be, we knew Michael was going to be back in the movie, right? But we wanted the scene to have some narrative significance and be meaningful. And her journey of grief and trying to kind of overcome that was one that we were kind of calibrating along the way, trying to make it work so that it felt earned at the end when she actually was, where you didn't know what she was going to do when she had Killmonger. And one of the ways to try to, tweak that was, one, to have her mother pass away, and then where would that take her? And Killmonger seemed like the perfect person for her to see once she had gone in, because he really did represent that other point of view of vengeance.
Now, the other part of the Marvel, which we love, you and I have spoken about before, is the indigenous world, a real world, which I was so impressed that Marvel allowed you to explore a real culture in a way that I've never seen before, accurately and stuff. How was that for you with the research part, but actually be able to incorporate this whole new world, and also different character points of view too, not black and white villains?
Yeah. We tried to tackle it similar to the way we approached Wakanda, in terms of starting with a grounded, real indigenous, history, and then extrapolating out from there to incorporate it within the cinematic universe. And Marvel is, they've been nothing but supportive in everything that we wanted to do with the films, and so there was never kind of a question. This is something that Ryan had thought about and wanted to do before we even really delved in. He wanted to expand the kind of Black Panther universe, and it was great. We had a wonderful consultant, Professor Aldana. We had really an entire team of people who were helping us to ground it in truth. And then, and for me, you're learning as you go along, and it's just a really fun experience. I learned quite a bit on the film.
And the great part for me was that the fact he just wasn't a cartoon villain. He actually, his point of view made sense. And, and it's not so black and white, which I thought made it interesting for Shuri. Is that kind of fun for you as a writer? You really get to explore the villains in a way that a lot of films don't let you explore the villains as real people.
Yeah, we look at them as antagonists, not villains. And one of the ways of making them, I think, more grounded is to have them have a point of view that's a very substantive one, and one that is relatable. We tried to do that with Killmonger, and obviously, we try to approach the same with Namor, and we feel like it works. It's part of the fabric of Black Panther movies now.